Hi, it's Bill with the Twilight Ghost Tour and Best Tours of Denver. As you can see behind me, that is our brand new bus for our brand new bus tour that we're doing. But I'm going to tell you what's really going on. I am on my way to participate in a paranormal investigation of the most haunted house in Denver, the Peabody Mansion. It is very hard to get into. In fact, I just saw it for the first time this past year. But we're going to spend the night there. We have Richard Estep there, and he is published books all over the place as far as true crime and paranormal. He's an expert in the field. So we're going to be hanging out with him. And we also are going to have with us another lady, and I'll tell you about her as we get in there. She is with Historic Realtors, so we will also see her as well. Anyway, I just want to let you guys know what I'm doing, and I will have tons of footage. I mean, who knows what I'll look like afterwards? Who knows I'll even make it through the night? So stay tuned. All right, you guys, I am in the mansion as we speak, the Peabody Mansion. So there's a lot of bright lights. It's not really dark yet, but it will be soon. The wind is howling like crazy. This room has actually been converted to an Airbnb, but I just wanted to kind of introduce where I am and what's going on right now, and we're going to keep going. If you saw the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, this door right here is the vault that they entered to get to the other part of the basement. This is where they thought the woman was buried, the Native American woman. We don't have access to it because it's actually shut off. I just want to show you what that is.
I'm going to go out and see if I can get in to make sure that the front door is good, because you can't lock it from the inside. So I don't know if it's locked or not. Is somebody just going in? Yeah, I'm going right here.
A little bit of activity, not high yet.
What's that noise?
It's the fire, the babies. Have you not seen them?
This is room 301. Jill has positioned a REM pod on the metal, so the landing outside is a metal lattice work, like grill work. You can see all the way down, it's very, very cool. So Jill has a REM pod about...
Please don't die on the stairs.
No, we're not working tonight. No, definitely.
So
REM pods positioned everywhere. One outside the door, one at the top of the stairs, and then the EMF cat is in the bedroom doorway. Okay, time starts now. 7:26. No questions until Jill says something, please. Chirping with that fire alarm, which needs a replacement. REM pod outside the door,
Talk about.
on the landing to my left.
What would you like to talk about?
REM pod stopped.
Good job.
Maybe a good time for the REM pod to go off.
Find it. What's the message?
Erin, I'm going to have you ask questions for the initial.
My doctor?
Where are you at?
No.
Didn't mean to interrupt any conversations that you might
Compare
have had.
them.
What are we comparing?
Stay focused.
What are you working on?
I don't get it. She said it. You're neurotic.
Who's neurotic?
Hello.
Hello.
Why don't you?
Were you responsible for setting off this device?
Outside REM pod again.
That's their same REM pod.
Is that?
Does it have a fresh battery?
5.
If that's you, could you stop, please? Could you step away from that? Thank you.
I'm gonna count down
Stronger.
3.
I'm screaming too.
So I'm gonna count down from 3, and when I get to 1, you could touch the device again.
What are your thoughts? Oh yes.
Sound excited. Let's try this. 3,
You'll never guess.
2, 1.
Explain it to me.
All you have to do is just go close
3.
like you did before.
A couple. 4.
Shall I count from 4?
I'm pretty confident.
4, 3, 2.
Watch it.
What am I watching? You're more than welcome to come inside.
Getting into this.
For the audio, I'm taking a photograph of the doorway and the REM pod for reference.
Really none. Bedroom. I expected it.
To a friend who was out on the
Burrow.
landing, would you please?
The door is open and you have an invitation to come and join us.
We have other things in here that let us know. Little balls.
Nation. Explain that.
Explain the cat balls.
So the cat balls, if you touch them,
I'll show you two.
all
Today.
it is just lights up. You just have to touch them very gently. Or you could kick them, either way.
4.
There is 4 of the cat balls.
The old viola.
I wonder if it makes you nervous that I have the door open, so I am going to close the door right now. So if you feel like that makes you uncomfortable,
Excuse me.
why don't you try not to slam it and give Jill a
Bro.
jolt? Bro, why don't you please?
The answer is yes.
Thank you, because I was asking if you would please set off that box.
Forced.
That did not go off while the door was open once.
I imagine not many
That's
people
our guy.
can talk with you.
2. I'm tired.
Just a couple more minutes. We're at 3 minutes left in the session.
Are you?
Are we tired? We're planning to be here all night.
So this investigation is really intense. It's very heavy. There's a lot still to investigate. I'm in really bright lighting, so I probably look washed out. I promise I'm not completely that scared, but it is very, very intense and heavy. Just stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Making anything more happen than...
No, I agree, but the observation was made, so
Yeah,
I'm actually going to just have Mike reach up and put the lights on. Mike, would you be so kind? Lights coming on in 3.
So I opened the door for a hot minute down here just to get a better ear on it,
And
and it stopped.
thank you.
That's interesting.
You're doing the hokey pokey now.
I mean, that is what it's all about.
Okay, so now for the antenna, we should be looking at about 2 inches. Less, actually.
It's weird.
So you see how close you have to get to directly break the field? Yeah, it's not.
Can you tell us who needs help? Who needs a doctor?
Crazy.
That's rude.
Yeah, we try not to use that word if we can avoid it.
Freaking cool.
There's some later on there where it was over here by your shoulder.
Why is it red?
Is this what I was?
No more anal than
Matter.
Can you hear us? That was a big game of Pac-Man, right?
Got it.
Alright, so we have the REM pod here in the doorway for our old friend the doorway peeker.
Okay.
Where it gets interesting is, as we step into this front bedroom, as we reach this point right before the fireplace, okay? Follow my footsteps. To the right is the music box. It's facing this way. There's a beam, an IR beam, facing this way. So if anything walks this way and breaks the beam, this goes off. We cannot set that off.
Are there any spirits that would like to speak with us?
This is the Stanley Hotel board, the Overlook Hotel board, with Erin, Jill, and Charlie participating.
Hello?
Okay, I made it out of the investigation alive. 9 hours of an investigation. Let me just tell you something. It was something else. It was mind-blowing. I have watched things on TV, Zach Bagans, Ghost Adventurers, and different ghost hunters, all those people. And I've really enjoyed them, but there's an element of Hollywood in it. There's an element of editing and, you know, over activity, really. I mean, it's impossible. It's not impossible, but to have that much stuff happen all within, you know, a short time period, it's a lot of editing and a lot of, I don't even know they're not putting sound effects or whatever they're doing, but it is entertaining. But this was real, and I was a part of it. And I just want to give you a brief overview of what happened in general. So there was a crew of about 6 or 7 of us there. And then we had Richard Estep there, and we had Jayne, who's a realtor, and she's also a friend of mine, and I was there. But we all had different reasons to be there. Some people were more experts on equipment, and some people were experts on history, and we all had our own specialty that we could contribute. But just to kind of give you the highlights of what happened, like I said, it took about 9 hours to complete. We had a pizza break after about 25% of it. But anyway, just to kind of give you the full spectrum of what was going on. So when you hear the word rampart, I think he's saying rampart. And I put some kind of little indication of what that is. That is actually a paranormal kind of detector, of a proximity detector. When it goes off, it's in the other room and no one's around it. And the only way it's going to go off if something gets so close to it, I mean like an inch away, or touches the antenna, then it's going to go off. And it did several times, and it coordinated really closely to what was going on with the spirit box. You see someone with a headset on the video, and they're just saying words. I'm going to explain that in depth, but here's what it is. What they're listening to is radio frequencies, different frequencies, fragments of frequencies. You're hearing through that headset, and they're blindfolded. You're hearing like half a second of like a DJ, or half a second of a song, or half a second of a interview, or half a second, and then just static and different things. But what these people are doing, or what we were doing when we listened to it, and I wasn't very good at it, I tried it, but there actually are some words coming through that are slightly above the frequency of the radio. And they're words that mean something, a lot of times in relationship to the house. Sometimes you're hearing words like death, murder. And at one point it said, "He changed everything. He shouldn't have done that." We think that might be referring to the fact that the house was changed and remodeled and redone, but we don't know that for sure. Sorry, I had to edit that because I sneezed right in the middle of my conversation. So if there's a glitch, you'll know why. Hopefully we don't have any more of those disruptions. It is allergy season. But anyway, the house has had many things happen to it. It just has over 100 years of history. It was built in 1889, by the way. So anyway, that person was listening to the frequency. A lot of times the cat balls would go off, which also are motion detected, and then the rampart would go off as well. All of that was happening, and they were using an SLS kind of laser infrared camera that was picking up on people moving around within the house that were not in the house. They weren't us. And there was one spirit that kept coming out of the back room and then just stopping at the hallway, right at the entryway in the room that we were all in. And you probably have already, I'm not saying probably, you have already seen that image. You'll see an image of me in blue, and it has me just kind of in an outline, and then you'll see what looks like a female right next to me across the doorway. That person was not a real person. That was a spirit. One of the most interesting things that happened when we were doing the investigation, and there's some footage of it being really dark in the room, right in the middle of the investigation, and unfortunately I didn't get it on tape. It sounds like one of those things like, oh, it happened, but I didn't get it on tape, but it really did happen. We were doing the investigation. We heard someone running up the main center staircase. Those stairs are made out of metal grid, like industrial stairs, and it sounded like they didn't have shoes on. They had either socks or bare feet, because it wasn't the sound of shoes, it was the sound of thumping feet running up the stairs. And we tried to recreate it, and we did recreate it, because we thought at first it might have been the fire escape, it was just to the right of the room we were in. And someone ran up those. It wasn't that, it was too close. I knew it was behind me. And then someone ran up those stairs, and it sounded exactly like what we heard. So lots of weird things were happening. Mainly it was ramparts going off and cat balls going off and images coming in and out of the room. But one really disturbing thing that happened that I was involved in, and it's not on video, but there's another team doing the second Ouija board reading. We had a Ouija board. We used a standard Ouija board that you buy at like a toy, or what you buy at a grocery store, just the standard one we grew up with. That one was moving really at a snail's pace, slow. And we were talking to a spirit who spelled out his name. His name was Ted. Well, it was taking so long that we actually switched Ouija boards to a custom Ouija board, which was from the Stanley Hotel, otherwise known as the Shining Hotel. So it had a recreation of that carpet from The Shining, and they made it for the Stanley Hotel. Anyway, that one was moving fast, and again, we connected with a spirit by the name of Ted. I asked him how old he was. He said he was 95 years old, and then I said, did you murder someone in this house? And he answered, yes. And I said, how old were you when you murdered this person? And it answered 54. And then someone else asked, who did you murder? What was the person's name? And he spelled out Raina. Then finally, just to test him, Richard Estep stepped over, and he's the expert in paranormal. He stepped over and he said, hey, thank you, Ted, for communicating with us. We appreciate the information. We're just gonna, since you're a spirit, we're gonna give you a little test to see, and just make sure that you're telling us the truth. And he told this guy with the Ouija board, he said, hey, listen, you're a spirit. We know that you can see. There is another Ouija board in another room behind this cabinet. I'll tell you where it is, and I know you can see it because you're a spirit. And he said, the indicator is on a number. We have it sitting on a number. Can you tell us what that number is? Well, the Ouija board on our side answered incorrectly, the wrong number. So he said, you know what, that one's not right. Let's try it again. So he asked the same question and answered the wrong number again. Well, Richard assumed, through just analyzing what was going on, and he's done this before, this guy was joking with us. He was pulling our leg and playing games with us. So he said, you know what, Ted, we're not talking to you anymore. We're not going to communicate with you anymore. And we closed out the kind of session of the Ouija board. And there's a few things that they say at the end, at the beginning, to close it out. That way you're not leaving or open portals. But before we did that, and when he called him out and said, you guys are playing games, the Ouija board moved to the letter F and then to the letter U. F-U. He was mad because Richard called him out and wasn't going to talk to him anymore. And so he basically told us to F off. A spirit. I didn't know that was actually a thing. But anyway, the whole event was crazy. At the end of the night, I left at 2:30 in the morning. It was coming down snow so hard. We couldn't even believe it. I didn't know that was going to happen. And luckily, Richard took me home. I only live a couple of blocks away. But anyway, that's kind of the summary of the investigation. There's probably something that I'm missing. It was pretty spine tingling. Let me just tell you that, and I'm not hyping this up. It was really kooky. By the way, I just want to let you know, just to correct something. There's a couple of shots when I was doing the house tour. I added a couple of sound effects just for fun. That is not real. I just did that just to be fun and interesting and make it spooky. So those 3 little sound effects when I'm showing you pictures in the house, there was like a Virgin Mary and then a picture of this guy with fragmented face and, another room. I just did it. So everything else was real. That I actually added sound effects to. I just wanted to fess up to that, so you know. But if you want to know anything about, I'm going to put descriptions below. If you want to know anything about information or how to find Richard, I'll put all those links below. If you want any information about Best Tours at Denver or the Twilight Ghost Tour, we're getting heating up with this ghost tours right now. Look at the links in the description below, and I'll include everything so you will be able to find your way. And I'll put a link about Jayne and her real estate stuff and our website. Anything you need will be there. So this is a different travel vlog than what I usually do, but it is very interesting, and it's something I'm really thankful that I got to participate in. So I will see you on the next video. And by the way, the next video, there's been a lag in videos, will be on Estes Park. So you have that to look forward to. It'll be coming up shortly within the next couple of weeks. So, oh, we have a bus tour now. I mentioned it in the video. So forget all the advertisements. Just come on our tours if you would like to. If nothing else, maybe you can stay at the Airbnb that is inside the Peabody Whitehead Mansion. All right, everybody. Nice seeing everybody, even though I can't see you. Have a great day, and I'll see you or hear you or talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.